The human response to stimuli or threats involves the intricate interplay of cognitive, emotional, and physiological processes. Generally, the responses can be categorized into two main types: conscious, intentional responses to stimuli that require attention and action, and automatic, unconscious responses to stimuli that are perceived as non-threatening. Imagine you're walking through a busy city street, surrounded by a variety of sights and sounds. Your conscious response is akin to being a vigilant pedestrian at a busy intersection. You stop at a traffic light, assess the situation, and decide whether it's safe to cross. This intentional response mirrors how your mind evaluates stimuli, deciding whether they represent a threat or require your attention. This triggers heightened awareness of two things. When a stimulus is perceived, the brain evaluates it to determine whether it represents a threat or requires attention. This evaluation involves cognitive processes and the interpretation of sensory information. If the stimulus is perceived as a threat, the body may activate the stress response, commonly known as the fight or flight response. This involves the release of stress hormones like adrenaline, preparing the body to deal with the perceived threat. Your automatic response is like your brain acting as a filter, much like noise-canceling headphones. In the midst of the city's hustle and bustle, your brain filters out background noise and routine stimuli, allowing you to focus on the important signals, such as the honk of a car or a pedestrian crossing sign. This automatic filtering mechanism helps you allocate mental resources to what matters most in the moment. There are two ways we do this: selective attention mechanisms. The brain is constantly bombarded with a multitude of stimuli from the environment. To cope with this information overload, selective attention mechanisms filter out stimuli that are perceived as non-threatening or irrelevant. This helps individuals focus on what is most important or relevant at any given moment. Habituation. With repeated exposure to non-threatening stimuli, the brain may habituate, meaning it becomes less responsive to stimuli that are perceived as routine or unimportant. This is an adaptive mechanism that allows individuals to allocate mental resources to novel or potentially significant stimuli. In summary, the response to a stimulus or threat involves a complex interplay of conscious and automatic processes. Conscious responses are triggered when a stimulus is perceived as a threat or requires intentional attention. Automatic responses, such as selective attention and habituation, help individuals filter out non-threatening stimuli and optimize their cognitive resources for meaningful or potentially dangerous situations.